with Chels, as promised. I started this podcast to kind of vent, honestly, but today's episode, we're just going to talk about heavy metal, what it is, what it means to me. It's going to be raw, it's going to be, no edits, things like that, or not a ton of edits anyways. But anyhow, if y'all only knew the amount of stress that I've been under in trying to get this podcast started. First thing was, I got the camera in and I was so excited. Then the mics didn't work. And then I got some new mics, or thought I was getting a new mic. It wouldn't hook up to the camera. And then finally I was like, you know what? We're just going to spend the money. We're going to get the good mics. And we did. And now we're here. Oh, and funny story, I did actually record this on Friday, or so I thought, but my memory card was actually full, so I basically drove around and talked to myself for 10 minutes. But anyhow, a lot of people have asked me, where are you going to do the podcast? Where are you going to do the podcast? And I thought about that for a while. I wasn't really sure because I had created a room for it, and then I was like, that's not, I don't want to be somewhere where somebody can stop and talk to me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just, when I get on something, I want one-track mind. And I was like, well, I'll do it at home. And as most of you know, I'm a twin mom. That's not going to happen. And I was like, all right, what is my other option? I was like, you know what? I got it. It's perfect. The car. Why the car? Because this is 99% of the time where I'm thinking. It is definitely where I listen to the majority of my music, which we'll kind of get into why that goes in heavy metal as well. But yeah, so like I said, starting this off, it's going to be real laid back, just kind of getting to know me, getting to know the brand, and kind of what it means. So let's get started. Alright, so what is heavy metal? HVYMTL. Obviously what it stands for, heavy metal. But a mixture of music, a mixture of weights, and a mixture of mental health. That's kind of the baseline behind all of this. As most of you guys know, fitness has been my life. Fitness has been what has kind of consumed me since 2012. If you didn't know, in 2012 my mom passed away. And that was kind of my release during. I had a really good friend of mine. He kind of, was like, hey, get under the barbell. He showed me how to do squats, how to deadlift, things like that. And honestly, I could not be more thankful for that, because that kind of turned into who I am, and has opened so many doors since that time. But anyhow, it's been a great ride. It has been a stressful ride. But yes, heavy metal, it is, obviously heavy. We lift heavy because we like muscles. But another part of that, like I said, is the music. Music is one of those things for me that expresses a lot of what I can't say, if that makes sense. It puts my emotions into words that I can't express. Because I have a really hard time expressing my emotions. Not that I don't express them, it's that I overly express them. And we'll get into that when I start talking about the mental health side of things. But, music is my go-to. It goes hand in hand with fitness, because I call them rage lifts, but we have really good lifts to really good music. And yeah, so those go hand in hand. Well, what wraps this all together is mental health. 2020 for me was crazy. 2021 for me was even more crazy. And also, I learned a lot about myself, good and bad. But the end of 2021 was my first, I guess, realization of mental health. Like, you know, I had known friends and we had talked about things like that, and I was like, oh, I'm so stressed. But the end of 2021 was my break. I remember, you know, weeping in the floor. I remember being so angry at the people I loved, and it was a lot of intense emotion that I could not explain how I was feeling. And that trickled into 2022. And like during that time, yes, I was having thoughts, if you know what I'm saying. And it's not that I ever planned anything. I never got that far, but the weight of what I was feeling was almost suffocating. But anyhow, that kind of turned into the brainchild of Heavy Metal, because I feel like, you know, I guess during that time there was a lot going on with the mental health side of things anyway, but I was kind of like, you know, something happens, we talk about it for 3 days a week, and then what else is there after that? What else are we doing? We're not talking about it anymore. And God forbid, therapy is expensive. But it's just, you know, there's no resources really, and I feel like if we could talk about it more, maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be so taboo. It wouldn't, you know, we would know that everybody is struggling with their own demons. And, you know, like, yes, on the outside, I guess on the outside looking in, my life, I mean, it's pretty top tier. Let's be honest. Like, I have a dream job. I have a dream job owning my own business. I have a dream job owning this business. I have 2 perfect little boys, you know, and I've got a lot going for me. And, you know, but I work hard and I take pride in that. And, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm human. At the end of the day, I'm probably crying myself to sleep at night. As, you know, and there was a few months where that's what I did. Like, yes, I had so much to be grateful for, but at the end of the day, I was just like, wow, like, why am I so sad? So fast forward a little bit, and I ended up going to see a psychiatrist and whatnot, and I got diagnosed with bipolar. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about bipolar, and I mean, basically what she explained to me was, you know, there's a constant and then there's bipolar. You know, it's 2 different moods. It's at an intense level. And like, I'm still learning how to cope with that. And I've learned what my triggers are. I've learned, you know, so I try to kind of protect my peace in that sense of things now. It took me a long time to get to that point. But I am doing medication, so that helps a little bit. And I was so anti-medication for the longest time. I just had a lot of mixed feelings about it because it's not something that I want to do long term. It's something that I want to use as a tool to kind of figure out where my baseline is and go from there. But for people that have to, they have to. That's just part of it. But anyhow, it's still a learning experience for me. And so I feel like talking about this, doing this podcast, is going to allow me to kind of share my journey within this. And, you know, like I said, the heavy metal, it's it's because it's a conversation piece. Obviously, a lot of you have my shirts, and man, I'm so thankful. Like, we've sold out several times. But, you know, this is your opportunity, like when you're wearing these things, oh, what is heavy metal? Like, I want you to be like, oh man, you know, it's about me and my mental health, or it's me and lifting weights, or, I mean, even talk about music, but wrap it up with, you know, how are you doing mentally? How are you doing? And mean it. You know, I feel like we kind of get so in a rush, and I'm terrible about this, that I'm like, what's up? How are you doing? Good. You know, and there's some days where I'm not doing so good. I might tell you I'm doing good, but a few of you have seen me crying in my office. Let's be real. But anyhow, like I said, this episode is just to kind of explain what heavy metal is, and why this is so important to me is because I do have friends that have had people commit suicide, whether it be family, whether it be friends, and, you know, like I said, I just want this to be something that people can try to relate to or are relating to, as I share my journey, as I go kind of back in time, you know, traumas and things like that in my life, but that have all molded, or have all made me into the person that I am. They have molded me to be who I am. But yeah, so this is kind of me sharing my heart with you guys, and, you know, I look forward to what heavy metal has to bring. I look forward to what heavy metal can be. Also, design-wise, I feel like I should kind of throw this out there. Heavy on the mind, heavy in the hands. That's the tagline, you know. Mental health can be heavy, crazy heavy up in that brain, and sometimes we want it to quit, but that's when I say heavy in the hands. You know, if I'm having a terrible day, I'm gonna go lift. That's what works for me. It's what works for a lot of people. But, you know, all of these designs on these shirts, my tattoo artist, by the way, is thebomb.com. She is the ultimate boss lady, and I love her to death. But she has kind of collaborated with me on this to produce all of these things. So if you didn't know, all of my tattoos are the designs behind heavy metal. I'm one of those weird people that I don't get tattoos unless they mean something to me. Like, I have a reason for getting one. I have a season of life that I can look back and say, oh, I got that tattoo because this. Not everybody's like that, and more power to you if you're not. I'm just an OCD freak. And yeah, so I hope you guys, you know, get to know me a little bit better by realizing what all of my tattoos mean. But, you know, the ones that we have done so far, I have done the heavy on the mind, heavy in the hands. The train the mind, I think, is going to be my staple, just because that is what this is about. If you don't know what that one is, what that design is basically a brain mace. And the tagline is train the mind. So yeah, you know, that's what this is about. The third one that we had dropped was my smiley face is here. But pain is progress. One's smiling, one's kind of dripping away, but pain is progress. Like, to progress forward, there's going to be some type of growing pain. That's just part of it. So yeah, like, I'm excited to see where all of these go. I have several more we're gonna bring to life. And like, honestly, like my latest one right here, my One More. If you've never read The Power of One More, highly suggest, because, you know, one more podcast, one more day, one more step, one more way, or one more rep, things like that. But I actually got this one because of my little protege, as I like to call her, because she's somebody that, one, she's very special to me, but two, you know, it is about teaching the younger generation that, yes, a lot is going to go on in your life, but you have to keep going. One more day, one more rep, you know. So yeah, like I said, you know, this is my heart. This is me sharing a lot with you guys. I plan on having different people with me on this journey. And I cannot wait to introduce one of my best friends who's like an absolute ray of sunshine. I literally wish I could like stick her in my pocket if that was a thing, just like bottle her up, because her energy is contagious. But you know, you need to have people in your life like that. I feel like my friend group has gotten really small, and that's a good thing in my eyes, because I feel like, yes, I do have friends, but I feel like a lot of friends have just like, they've taught me a lot of lessons, and then I have those close-knit ones that, you know, they speak life into my life on a daily basis. And that's important. You know, a support system is important. Support groups are important. And you are the people you hang around the most. I don't care what anybody says, but if you are around 5 people and they are not who you want to be or aspire to be, you are going to end up like them. That is human nature. So if you can look at 5 people around you and say, I want to be better like them in that area or this area, find a different circle. But episode 1, we're going to wrap it up. It was a little bit of rambling, but like I said, you know, this is going to be raw. This is going to be real. This is just going to be me sharing my heart. This is going to be me sharing my feelings. There may be episodes where I'm crying throughout it. I don't know. But I look forward. I really look forward to what this is going to become. I hope it becomes something that people can, you know, listen to this when they're having a bad day and be like, you know what? Struggles, everybody's got them, but we keep moving forward. But anyhow, if you don't follow the Instagram, go follow the Instagram at Heavy Metal Apparel. That's where I'm going to start posting drops. I've got some links I'm trying to set up for website purchases moving forward. But yeah, I am so stoked about this. Episode 1, you've been fun. I'll see you for episode 2. Also, if you don't have liquid death in your life, you're not really living. I'm not drinking beer. A lot of people think I'm drinking beer sometimes, but I promise it's just water. A good way to kill your thirst.